Hey YouTube, it's me, Jim the Giant, and today I've got a little question for the HEMA community, and that is, do some of us have things backwards when it comes to safety? So what do I mean by that? Well, there's two approaches you can take to making equipment safer when it comes to martial arts. You can either massively pad your weapon, such as they do in boxing, as an attempt to make things safer. Just pad your fist, just put loads of padding on your fist, and it means there's going to be less impact, or at least that's the idea in theory. Or you can pad yourself up, you can wear headgear and thick clothing to mean you take less damage. And this is the approach we've generally taken in HEMA, and I think that for many of us this could be the wrong way to go about things. So I've made a little mock-up. I've made a padded weapon. I've just taken a raw synthetic sparring sword and I've covered it in pipe insulation and I've connected it all up with masking tape. Now, of course, this is only a mock-up. If someone was making a commercial product, obviously it would look a hell of a lot better than this. This stuff unfortunately does tear after a few hours of sparring, and then it can end up quite dangerous. So if these were available commercially, you'd either need replacement coverings, or they'd need to have they use far better materials than I've got here. I'm not a huge expert in that. I don't know if there are any materials which are as soft and paddy as this, but also very, very resistant to tears. Hopefully there is. But yeah, this, I think, for a lot of people, could be a better approach. Obviously, when it comes to using steel weapons, then you still need just as much as the protective equipment anyway. But when it comes to synthetics, why not just make these weapons more padded? This would probably add about $5 to the cost of the weapon, but it would save you, £600, £700, £800 when it comes to all the protective equipment, which is about what you'd need to spend at a minimum to enter most HEMA tournaments. So this would make it far more accessible for a lot of people. I know a lot of people who are really interested in the idea of HEMA, but can't justify spending the vast amounts of money they need for all the protective equipment. And yes, some clubs have a lot of this protective equipment anyway, but they've got to have it in your sizes. It tends to smell after a while. It's not nice wearing things that 30 other people have. So if you can do away with that, brilliant. The other problem with all the protective equipment is it's a pain in the arse to put on and off. It's a pain in the arse to carry with you. It starts to smell. There's a lot of issues with wearing all of this protective stuff. Now, when it comes to historical accuracy, these synthetic swords are about 2/3 weight of a real sword, so adding this padding onto them actually makes them more historically accurate. Balance point is still pretty acceptable, and another benefit I see to them, real swords bind when you hit them together. These synthetics, if I use the unpadded side, they don't, they slide. With the padding, that is nice and bound in there. You can't slide it sideways, and so this will make it easier and more realistic to do a lot of the techniques. Also, when it comes to the armour, a lot of us learn unarmoured systems as it is, and when you're learning an unarmoured system, it's not historically accurate to be wearing really thick padded gloves, knee pads, shin pads, elbow pads with plastic plates on them. All of that excess weight, restriction in movement. This is simply more historically accurate when it comes to learning those systems, or makes the combats more realistic in any case. So I think that this is just a better approach. Finally, the other benefit I think of using these, when it comes to YouTube videos and televising them, these are a lot thicker. They show up on camera a lot better. If this was a nice bright colour, or even black or white, this would show up better than the synthetic sparring swords. So from a media perspective, I think that these could in fact be better for growing the sport. Now, of course, coming on to the downsides, like I said earlier, these things probably aren't going to last forever, even with better materials. At some point, you're going to need replacement coverings, but still, that's going to be a fraction of the cost of replacing protective equipment and stuff. So I don't think that's a huge deal. They'll need inspections. But then again, when it comes to tournaments, your equipment's inspected as well. So I still think, on balance, this is a better approach. The only piece of protective equipment I'd really like with these would be some impact resistant eyewear, because there still is a small chance of a severe eye injury with these. Not a huge one, but it's still significant. It's still an unacceptable risk with today's health and safety rules and all of that stuff. So yeah, I'd quite like some impact-resistant eyewear. And then nothing stopping people from wearing more protective equipment if they really need it, if they really feel like having it as well. So if people did want to be fully kitted out, then they're going to be doubly protected with these things. Of course, I think that would make it more appealing to a lot of people as well. Some people do bruise easily. Some people are small or frail. These people need to learn to protect themselves as well. I don't think that HEMA should be should be making itself more accessible for those types of people as well. Other downside is potentially it may lead some people to take the sport less seriously. Those on the outside, they see that we're using foam weapons and not something nice and solid like plastic, and think it's and they may think that HEMA's kind of wussy. But then again, who gives a fuck what people outside the movement think anyway? I mean, Kendo uses the split bamboo shinai for the sparring, which is a lot lighter and more flimsy than these things. So yeah, it's still more hardcore than it would still be more hardcore than the other weapon fighting systems out there anyway, in many ways. So yeah, who cares about that? Some people may think it's more like LARP if we're using foam weapons, but again, fuck them. So yeah, overall, I think that this could be a better way of doing things for an awful lot of people. If you agree, let me know in the comment section. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section and tell me why I'm wrong. So thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.